Hi there, everybody. This is Lee, and I'm talking about the Trans-Pecos pipeline with this video. I recently did an update on what's happening at the Dakota Access Pipeline near Cannonball with the Sioux Nation and friends of Sioux Nation. Some veterans are still on site in North Dakota to protect against the pipeline, the contamination, the corporate overreach, the violation of sovereign treaty law. Apparently it's gone to the point that the Republican-led North Dakota legislature are trying to pass a bill legalizing hit and runs on water protectors, which they call protesters. And so that's the point that we're seeing the law being perverted by Kelsey Warren of Energy Transfer Partners. Basically, Kelsey Warren has used his wealth to purchase a control over state government. And so you hear a lot of talk about states' rights, independence, things like this, freedom. Basically, Kelsey Warren is attempting to own and control the state's rights in North Dakota. And it's unknown whether the citizens, other than Sioux Nation, will fight against that or if they will allow that to happen. But now this is the Trans-Pecos pipeline. This is in Texas. This article is written by Candace Byrne. The Truth Out. More lockdowns, arrests as Indigenous-Led direct action campaign continues in West Texas. And so something similar is happening. It's not just North Dakota. The Trans-Pecos pipeline is about 148 miles. It would send fossil fuel from Texas to Mexico, frack gas from West Texas to Mexico. So it's actually for export. People defend these pipelines saying that it's for energy independence, and it actually is not. That fracked gas is not for domestic use. It's for export. So it has nothing to do with energy independence of the United States. It has everything to do with poisoning, contaminating, destroying the lives of people, of the citizens of the United States, in order to send that energy out of the country. There's no public benefit. There is no public good here. The only benefit is to the CEOs of these companies. The money goes into their pocket. There's no public good. There's no energy independence. There is only greed and then a pocketing of revenue. Not for the people, for the CEOs of the company. So anyway, what's happening in North Dakota is happening all around the United States. It's also happening in West Texas. There are Native American water protectors who are engaged in civil disobedience. They're locking themselves to equipment. They're documenting. They're filming. They're fighting against this pipeline, and they're undergoing similar response. And so you can go to this article in the description and read more about it. The fact that Texas billionaire Kelsey Warren, the CEO of Energy Transfer Partners, the main beneficiary of all this chaos and mayhem and destruction for which he is responsible, he's attempting to again control the narrative of what's happening in Texas. And if he has to lie, if he has to mislead, if he has to gaslight, like he attempted to do in North Dakota, although it didn't work, but he is attempting to follow the same playbook in Texas. And so that's the fossil fuel company. There's also another article that I'm going to follow up with. This is by Lorraine Chow, of EcoWatch via BuzzFlash via Truthout. Solar employs more workers than coal, oil, and natural gas as individual industries. And so solar is rising up as a contender and a competitor to coal, oil, and natural gas. Definitely, there is an understanding that solar is more economically feasible at this time than coal, and the prices are going to continue to be competitive. Whereas oil and natural gas and coal are finite industries, solar and wind are rising up as renewable industries. Definitely, we've seen some industrial scale wind energy industries off the coast of Rhode Island, industrial wind energy generation, transmission, distribution in Iowa, also in Texas, interestingly enough. There's large scale solar farms and fields in Arizona and in California. Florida is also growing its solar energy industry as well. So renewable is growing. There's a public relations turning against the fossil fuel industry. And as one grows stronger, the other is growing weaker. And so you see a kind of desperation resulting. There are statistics in this article you can compare that solar energy employs more people than any other single power source of coal, oil, gas. And so it's pretty interesting that, people are starting to realize this. The fact that even China, which is a worldwide polluter, are known, they are investing billions of dollars into the solar energy industry. There's a knowledge that this is the future. They're building a huge solar power plant on the grave of Chernobyl. So where that so-called clean energy that people keep saying that nuclear is, that has caused the death of about 5,000 people, the initial meltdown and then the radiation poisoning that followed, that so-called clean energy industry has killed thousands. And so they're covering up the Chernobyl, and they're using the existing structures like the electrical transmission stations. They're using those or retrofitting them to transmit the solar energy that's going to be generated once the site is built. It's a public-private partnership in China, in the Ukraine, and so they're building there in cooperation with the Ukrainian government. So solar wind is the future. You see the fact that people are resorting to hit and runs on protesters and protectors in order to continue on with the fossil fuel industry. That's only one indication of the desperation that you see in order to save this dirty energy harvesting. Anyway, the links to these articles will be in the description. You can read more and learn. And not everyone's prepared to face down snowmobiles and cars and be struck by them in hit and runs, or rubber bullets, or mace, or tear gas, or flashbangs, and sound grenades, and felony rioting charges. Not everyone's prepared to do that. But there is a way that you can divest yourself from the fossil fuel industry and then reinvest that money into renewables. I'll leave a link to the handbook that describes how and the considerations that you can give to reinvesting your money into truly clean energy industry, solar and wind, and others, biodiesel, things like that. Good luck.